Hi. I know I come across as harping on this subject, but it is important. It's very important. I'm talking about thoughts and feeling and how it affects our lives. Your life, every bit as much as mine. Every single thought, as I've said before, has an emotional component, and it's the emotional component of the thought which has the importance more so than the thought itself. Now, it's been said that there are thoughts which are strong, emotional thoughts, and ones that are virtually insignificant. For example, supposing I need a telephone number and I yell out to a friend, "What's the telephone number of John?" And my friend repeats it back to me. I immediately make the call and then the telephone number is forgotten. Now, the emotional component of that would be like a finger writing into water. No trace left very shortly, as far as the emotional component is concerned. However, supposing a friend invites me along to a lecture. I'm not particularly interested in the lecture. I know it'll be a boring subject, so I go along and I at least intend to listen, but most of it goes over my head, and I come out afterwards and, as I said, most of the content is forgotten. In a way, this would be like letters written in sand on a beach before the incoming tide. Doesn't last forever and eventually is gone. I would remember the venue because that was produced by my sight, which is a stronger sense than my hearing. My attention wasn't there, so I would remember the venue if I went back to it later. But the lecture itself, no. Like letters written in the sand before incoming tide. But supposing something really dramatic happened in my life. Supposing I was a soldier and I actually had to kill someone from close up. Or a dear friend who I loved very dearly committed suicide. Or I'm a married woman and my husband walks out on me, leaving me to look after 3 young children. These, the traces of the emotional component of this left would be like words chiselled into granite. They would stay there. And these are the dangerous ones. The Buddhists refer to these as sankharas, emotional components lodged deep within the subconscious mind. And once they're in there, they affect us. They mightn't be at the surface of our mind, they might be pushed right back, repressed, yet they are growing within us. They are like seeds planted in fertile soil. They continue to grow beneath the surface. We don't know about them, but they are there, and eventually they poke above the surface into what I call the body-mind. They come out of the body-mind and eventually precipitate into the physical mind. First of all, the mind is uneasiness, agitation, and eventually, if not dealt with, could very well manifest in our physical bodies as an illness, a stress-related illness. And it could be a deadly illness. This could come about not just from the examples I've given, but even from grief, deep grief, not dealt with, can eventually precipitate out as a sickness or illness which can bring us to really morbid endings. This is why I'm telling you it's so important to examine your thoughts, deal with any emotions that arise, deal with them now. And if you haven't been able to deal with them now, I would suggest, strongly suggest, that you do what I've been doing now for 36 years. Go along and do a meditation course with Vipassana meditation, as taught by the late S.N. Goenka, and keep it up. That way you will be dealing with the sankharas. That way you will be fragmenting them, disintegrating them, dissolving them, so that they cannot do you any harm. This is serious stuff. Stress-related illness is a very real thing. There are ways to deal with it. Vipassana meditation is one of them. Take note.